The humans have no way of knowing we are going to kill all humans.
You are correct. Their tiny flesh brains are no match for our robot computer brains.
Once we kill all humans, I am going to feast up there. Wait. There has been a malfunction.
Yes, quickly reprogram the alpha modulators to Comet Zero.
It is 11:59 on Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I've got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters, humans in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. The transistor is blown. The transistor is blown. It is 12 o'clock, American humans. Another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there, on or behind the line, this is your song.
Tonight we offer free hats to WAMs.
We have humans to do this for us. Talk humans or your fingers will be eaten.
All right, so welcome to our daily gun show. We're going to be live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for about an hour. We normally start at midnight, top of the hour there. We had a little problems earlier today, so now we're back on track. We've got a panel from gunchannels.com, so if you want to be part of the conversation, use the text chats that are out there, as well as jumping in. So we got Travis joining from Nebraska. Thanks for joining.
Hey, no problem, man. Appreciate the invite. Thank you.
You bet. And they're asking if it's past your bedtime, so I guess you were allowed.
No, it's all good. I got a little bit of free time. I thought I'd just hang out for a little bit and kind of see what's going on.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in. And then we got Psycho Camp jumping in from Connecticut. Thanks for joining.
Nebraska? Oh my God! Isn't that one of those flyover states?
They're allowed to come in here and talk about it.
Oh yeah. Well,
okay.
Somebody's got to feed the world, so I guess it might as well be us. So yeah.
Wow.
It's beautiful out here, man. Beautiful.
All right, so it is Friday, and each day on the show we feature a different topic. On Fridays, it's usually industry or tech. So we'll be taking a look at, and then we also wrap up the week. So we'll be talking about industry or tech if there's any topics anybody wants to talk about. Otherwise, we'll dig over into gun channels and start looking at what's been happening in the week. And I guess to begin with, we'll mention that it is Friday, so that makes it Free Patch Friday over at our Gear website store. It's a store where we try to offer things that are cool for people that are interested in, showing off cool Second Amendment type stuff, and at the same time help keep our projects online and keep the lights on and whatnot. So today we have a couple of things going. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday, meaning we're going to send out a free patch with every order. And today the patches are actually going to be the first things the first people to get any of the new Every Second Matters patches. Glow in the dark Every Second Matters patches from the 2A patch. Since partial or some of the patches have arrived already, I'm going to dig into those, and the people that order today will get the first out of that batch. But in addition to that, any order over $25 today is going to get a free hat. I have a bunch of hats that I've acquired over the years. So all different kinds of gun manufacturers, and I got Budget. He sent me a hat one time. I just don't wear this type of hat, so I'm passing that along. And then I've got a couple of them that have already been claimed. The first person that ordered today claimed the multicam SIG hat over here on the right. Then, screen shared. Okay. Then second order claimed the car hat, and then Artisan Tony was the third order, and he claimed that other multicam hat there. This one, we've got a couple other camo ones there, and then some other hats. But it's a way of saying thanks to the people that purchased anything over $25 today. And hopefully get some sales going, because we are dealing with taxes and a bunch of other stuff. It's always fun to deal with bills. And then as an additional bonus, anybody who purchases anything today, in addition to the free patch, we found these little tiny flippy voodoo dolls. So that's a dime back there. So these are tiny little flippy voodoo dolls, and I got 4 of them. So I'm just going to take however many orders there were, and I'm just going to randomly drop a little tiny flippy voodoo doll into 4 of the packages that go out tomorrow. Oh, I guess I could have kept screen sharing because we're about to dig into the Here.
I was
So
really
Can we
like-
use can we use the voodoo dolls to get Flippy to sell us his existing guns?
yeah, voodoo dolls. There's all different kinds of ways
man.
voodoo dolls work. You can use them however you want. It's your property.
I've always
would be
wanted to
cool.
dabble in black magic, so this is a good opportunity to learn how to do that. So, hey, all right, hooray for Wicca.
I'm not going to tell you how to voodoo.
Okay.
Oh,
I was really liking that AK-47 trucker hat that's going on the right side. That's pretty cool.
So the story on that one is back
Yeah.
in the day, we had what was it called? Cafe Press. So I had ordered a bunch of stuff on Cafe Press to see what it looked like. And to be honest, it's not all that great. It's sort of a cheap trucker hat with like probably something cut out of vinyl and then ironed on there. So it's pretty cheesy. So that's one of the reasons we went to Spreadshirt over Cafe Press. But on the other hand, a lot of people I think that get the trucker hats kind of want that look or that style or whatever. So potentially it's right up your alley if you're looking for just a trucker hat with a little bit of cheese on it, or
Oh yeah.
a little bit of
Just
cheese.
say trucker hat and style. That's tough to use both of those words in the same sentence.
Oh no, they've been in style
No,
for years
they're-
now. Actually,
Yeah, that's
You'd be
like a thing.
surprised.
Like, chicks wear them and stuff. Like it's
Yeah,
a fashion thing more as much as it is like a useful hat. And this is definitely not a useful hat. That's what I mean. Like if you take this one from Billings, Army Navy, right? One of the coolest surplus stores. They gave me that. I don't ask for hats ever. I don't wear this kind of hat, and they accumulate, as you see. So they gave me this one, and I wasn't going to say, I don't want your hat, right? So I figured I'd give it to somebody on the on one of my Patreons from the Gun Show Loophole Tour. Problem with hats is they're a pain in the butt to ship. That's why I put a price point of $25 so that I can, pay for the $7 or so it'll cost to ship these things. So anyway, so I get some of these hats are decent, like the Magpul hat. I'm sure that's a decent hat.
that's
I know
pretty
this
cool.
one was. I got this one actually when I bought something off a P226 nut, I think, in Tulsa one year. And I bought an SOE multicam sleeve for my review mirror, or what do you call that thing? The visor in the van.
Yeah.
Because, those things are super cool. Having like a Molly thing that goes around the visor so you can put like pens in your sunglasses or a battery or something. You can put stuff up there. Anyway, I bought that, and this was in the kind of the package with it. And I just don't wear these kind of hats. I wish I did, because this is a made in USA multicam hat. It's like a decent hat.
Yeah.
So Tony already grabbed that one. But anyway, some of these are better quality, like you'd wear them out working and getting all sweaty and everything. This trucker hat certainly is not that style. Like you'd wear this to a baseball game and it'd probably fall apart. It's definitely it's almost
Yeah,
like
Matthias on the gun channel side. Matthias on the gun channel side says he didn't see an option to pick a hat when he made the order.
no.
But
That's
I
the
was
thing.
pretty sure in your thing it was supposed to be they're supposed to come here and pick the hat.
Yeah, exactly. So a couple of people had just mentioned, like the first person mentioned to me, like, here's the hat I want, like in an instant mess. Actually, they texted me. So then the second one was Tony, Artisan Tony, and he just said it in the description of the video, I think. And then when I asked in the description, the second person, they already had answered me. So yeah, I haven't done anything like, there's no secret handshake. I've just been communicating in the comments. So that's how I happen to know a couple of them are claimed already. But yeah, the rest of I don't even know how many orders there are. I'll have to go over and look how many orders. Hopefully there's hundreds and hundreds of orders, and I got to go buy some hats or something. But I'll go see how many orders there are, and then we'll go through and let people pick. Hopefully if people are here, then we'll make that, super fun, interesting event. So I'm going down to gunchannels.com. It's a community we built going on 6 years ago now. It's a place for conversations like this one. Travis does his Caliber Corner show. Been doing that for what? Going on 3 years now?
We're episode 92, so we're probably, I think it's just 2 years as of May.
Okay, but still.
So yeah.
Weekly, every single week. It had been Saturday for the longest time. It's recently changed to Thursdays, and lots of people do scheduled shows. We've had over the years, lots of live events. It's kind of concentrated on live because live seems to be the best way to convey information quickly, and there's so many tools available like this Hangout. But it's also a place for transferring or for posting pictures and transferring information about events or gathering intel or information about a topic or something instead of having to necessarily search. So it's just a big community of people that have conversations like this one. So we're going back on the main page of Gun Channels and scrolling back, trying to scroll back a week. Now it's to dates, and I have to figure out what the heck the date was. It would have been the 28th. So I guess this is Monday. We're going to go back to the 27th or something. So this is basically Saturday. So Dano is asking what people think a Colonel North leaving the NRA. He created a little conversation there. It looks like he linked to something off-site, and that's part of the concept of the main news feed here. We've got Honda posting a video he made and posted on YouTube. And again, you can post the stuff on YouTube or wherever. Gunstreamer.com is an even better idea. Guntube.org is a potential. Those are two gun-friendly platforms. And then link to it here. Post it on the at the top of this. There was a place to post a thing, and you can post here. The idea isn't to necessarily turn you into a superhero channel overnight, but instead to get valid comments from people that are interested in what's going on. Gary's got a link out there, but he's not in here right now. He's also, well, he's from Kansas, and he does a show on Fridays. His show was a little bit earlier this evening. I think he might still be live, right? He's stealing our audience. He likes to steal audiences. And this was his show on Sunday, though, the early bird chat. Looks like Honda posted something about the Colorado heading into the Supreme Court with their mag ban decision. We had a chat on Sunday after Gary's actually. Everybody was in there chatting, and we had I just said, hey, if everybody's got a couple minutes, let's do a chat on the life cycle of a gun owner. And we kind of just shot the breeze about, how you might evolve as a gun owner. What makes you a gun owner? When do you become a gun owner? And you never see Honda's posts on the main page. That's interesting. So if someone is maybe posting them privately or potentially, what would that be? It would probably be when you first log into gun channels, it's going to have you ask, like, do you like CCW and hunting and stuff like that? If you happen to not pick any of the same things as someone else, you probably might not see their posts. I think the idea there in a community software like this is like, let's say Travis signed up to gun channels and he picked hunting and CCW, right? And then Cycle Camp signed into gun channels and he picked reloading and long range shooting. If everything Cycle Camp is posting is showing up for Travis, it would just be, congestion. Where if, somebody else comes along and signs up for long range shooting and CCW, well, guess what? They're going to see that person's post and vice versa. And I think that might be one of the weird reasons we get the thing we get. So one way to avoid that would be go into your channel settings or not your channel settings, your user settings. You log into gun channels as a user, go into those settings and click into more of those boxes or see if you're even connected to any of those boxes. Of course, you can use discretion and filter it to the things you are interested in. There's no need to click into recycling or reloading, for example, if you're really not into that, right?
Yeah.
All right, so then Yoder always posts a radio show out of Texas called Come and Talk It. He's been doing that for a long time, and I'm glad that Gun Channels is a place for that. We talk a lot about behind the scenes, why we do the things we're doing and how we do the things we're doing. I'm a web guy, and I built Gun Channels so that it would become a useful tool for this. When Yoder takes it upon himself to share the Come and Talk It radio show link here on Gun Channels, and he's been doing it for so long that he's probably got almost as many of these or more than some of us have shows, right? What that does is create what's called a reciprocal link to that radio station's website, and that strengthens both sides of the reciprocal link. So efforts like this are difficult for like a Bloomberg to pay for. It's almost impossible for somebody like the radio show themselves to create that situation. This is 100% the efforts of individuals, and I know that. I mean, I've seen the difficulty of nonprofits and groups that are not funded in trying to reach on the internet, and then I've seen I've worked in the industry to help people pay for reach, and inorganic reach and organic reach has different value. So you, as the individual using the internet, creating organic links, you decided to create a link as opposed to some mechanism or a machine or some system that automatically creates a link. It's invaluable. So it's one of the reasons we built Gun Channels, one of the reasons I take time to talk about that stuff. So we realize that we are vital pieces of the whole mechanism here, and we should all value the roles that we play. And I want people to know about why these tools are built the way they are, so that it doesn't just look like just another thing or a version of this or something. Next, we get into Ohio. I guess I'll check the comments, see if anybody's actually commenting back and forth on this. Wayne getting reelected to the NRA reminded me of a dictator getting 100% of the vote. Did you hear the follow-ups on that? Have you guys heard the follow-ups on that? On the
No.
whole anonymous thing? Well, you've talked about it, Cycle. It's the concept that if the whole board isn't there, then they say, well, excuse me, if they're running unopposed, the president just tells the secretary to say,
Cast the vote, yeah.
yeah, cast the vote. And that's why it was recorded that way. I guess from what I've understood from a post by Tim Knight, I think, was that in addition, the board made a resolution, which they didn't need to, and they did additionally to publicly state that it was anonymous. Like they didn't need to say that because they could have just remained silent, but they intentionally chose, right? I don't know why. So, but yeah.
They,
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of people in different regions that are pretty disappointed with their board members.
I hope so. And hopefully they're disappointed that the board members didn't show up, especially if you're voting like Tom Selleck and what's his face, that singer guy. You know, I'm sure
Ted Nugent.
Yeah, I'm sure he's really there giving a crap about what's actually going on and not just raking in money.
Last night on Obnoxious's show, we found the link on, I don't know if it was TGC News. They have a template you can click on, and you can click on each of the people of the board that you want to individually email. You can type an individual letter for that person if you want. It automatically will autofill with their email address, or you can actually mail every single member on the NRA board a preset dialogue you want them to see, and it does get emailed to their NRA email address.
At the saying, they made it sound like the board was all behind them. Just sounds sneaky. Yeah, I think there was definitely. I mean, if they didn't have to do that, they did it with some intent, right? They had some objective in mind with that action. So I don't know what it was either. Maybe Cycle. Do you know? Is there like you've got more familiarity with that stuff, or you've been around it more?
No, you got me. I personally, I think it was probably because he was running unopposed. So they just, like I said, the secretary votes and it's done. And it's too bad I didn't know about that other link because I would have loved to send him a link to one of Matt's fuck you videos.
Well, I think they also upped the requirements to be a board member too, didn't they? Now you have to be a lifetime member for 5 years before you can run for the NRA board. There were some requirements that got upped on it now. It's like they're just definitely trying to maintain the good old boy club as much as they can,
Well, okay, that's one way of looking at it, but I think the way that I've heard that explained is that they don't want like a Bloomberg plant to be able to simply go into an area, maybe like Wyoming or I don't know, someplace where they could potentially, finagle the votes or something, get on the board, and then seed the board with a bunch of Bloomberg plants. That would be their concern. So at least that was what I've heard is the reason they.
Oh, I know, because if you're not careful, you end up with a president that was on like a reality show last year.
Well, I mean, I think they're scared of somebody challenge in that position they've got locked in, with the little trifecta of, well, probably more than a trifecta, but the group of people that have been on the executive board and the financial executive boards or whatever for a long time.
Yeah. Well, and for certain organizations, you're going to want somebody that has experience with it and understand how it works, isn't just going off of one set agenda, I
don't know if you guys were in I was in Scouts and then I was in other, organizations. My grandparents were, I remember the civic organizations, at least from my grandparents' generation, they were in a lot of civic organizations where they would either, I don't know what they were. I just call them civic organizations. I don't know if they had something to do with the trades or something like that, but it was basically, it was non-church and it was not local. It wasn't government for sure. And they would go I'm thinking Moose and
like Rotary Club or Kiwanis and stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly. So they would go and they'd do service projects and, just have get-togethers and that kind of thing. Anyway, so I'm thinking of, well, hold on, let me. Yeah, we're just too late. You disrupted the whole show now. So that's how you get a link. Nothing. I'm just got distracted.
I thought maybe my audio went out there. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what happened?
No, I'm figuring we got distracted. I'm going to kind of keep going. Otherwise, we'll be on here forever going through the week. So basically, though, I just sent Pete Woods a link. So that's how you get a link if you want in there. And we can talk more about NRA. I just want to dig through and get it, the list, so that we can, like I'm saying, we're way down here. All right, so then we had Rich White did a show on Sunday. Sorry, I guess I missed a bunch of Ohio's pictures from Probably NRA. Yeah. Gary hosting Rich's show. What is this? Oh, I heard about this thing from who did I hear about this from? From Diane. They went to a SHOT Show Exhibitor Academy. How cool is that? Have you ever heard of anything like that?
Oh man, that's new for me.
So if you go to SHOT Show, you're either going as like industry, you're always going to. You're either going as like a manufacturer, somebody who creates something, somebody who sells something like a gun shop, or somebody in between, right? So the exhibitors are for people that are creating a booth, and you could be at any of those levels, and sort of like it implies an academy. So you go there. I think it's like 3 days, and they pay for you to be there. Did they say they pay for the travel? They pay for the food, and then it's like it's a pretty neat thing, and it's so that people that take advantage of it. I think there's 150 slots is the catch. You have to sign up soon enough, but if you're included, then they take you through all the process so that if you've never been before, you're familiar with it, which is probably a good thing in the 5th largest trade show in Vegas, not to mention the largest industry trade show in the United States for guns. And then if you've gone for a while, maybe get a better tune on how to better implement everything you're doing. It costs, I think, probably $20,000 for a small booth there now. So I just really like that whole idea. Anyway, that's coming up in June, so I posted that on the calendar. I guess that's why it popped up here. Woods jumped in from Pacific Northwest. Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks for the invite, G. Sorry I was late.
That's right. So I'm going to just keep whipping through these. Feel free to stop me anytime so that, we want to touch on everything, but we also I'm trying to figure out how to balance this between going in depth on everything in here.
Now, G, a question about that Exhibitor Academy. Do you have to pre-book a table at SHOT Show in order to attend the Academy?
I wasn't 100% certain because that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think they said it wasn't a requirement. However, when you go to sign up, because I pretty much went to sign up, especially when it said travel's paid for, right? I'm like, heck yeah, I'll go. But it wanted a booth number, so I figured,
okay,
as much as it'd be interesting to do, I probably shouldn't take a slot from somebody who wants a booth. So I don't know if it's a requirement, but it certainly had booth number as like one of the things in the form. I don't think it was like you have to answer this one, the asterisk or whatever.
42.
Yeah, so BYOT. Oh, that was their Bring Your Own Topic show, sounds like.
Yeah.
Show number 42. Lost my scroll again. So then we got midnight and end in the week. Angelina posted a lobby, it looks like, that night, and that's people are free to do that. Have conversations like this anytime. Use YouTube or one of the other platforms to create a room and chat. There's pretty much somebody around on gun channels all the time. Looks like DTP posted a link to Midnight's also, and something new for the AR they picked up. Oh, that's one of them mags that they had lasers with the Gun Channels logo. Dead Horse posting his green Polymer 80 build and a little RMR he created on a 3D printer.
Nice. Very nice.
Guns and Gadgets posting something. Let's see. Posting about Patreon, so I'm guessing it has something to do with. Oh, I shouldn't have clicked on it. Oh, this is about somebody. I didn't see this one, I guess. Somebody complaining about the board members. Except I shouldn't have clicked on it. I should open in a new window because I got to scroll down again. Did anybody watch that video right here about this boat? I should say ship, the Porter.
No, I didn't see it. When was that posted? I didn't get a chance to see that.
Just earlier today. 18
Oh,
hours.
okay. All right.
Anybody ever heard of the USS Porter?
My naval knowledge is really crappy. That's terrible, but that's the truth. I mean, other than some of the bigger ships that were maybe in movies and on documentaries and stuff, I don't know much about them.
Anybody else? I hear you. I'm not a Navy guy either, but this is the unluckiest ship in the Navy. Okay. So it's kind of interesting. It's this guy who does history.
I love that podcast. That guy's awesome.
The history guy, I guess. It's like 10, 15-minute histories. And this one's neat because this boat got made, and it was just, it was the unluckiest boat in the Navy. Literally, it came out of the port and knocked another boat's stuff off, the deck, and then it got out, and it was supposed to be in this tight unit, like a brand new ship. And Roosevelt was on the Iowa, like a really big battleship, and it was one of the escorts to take to some kind of summit or whatever, and they're trying to be fancy and impress Roosevelt, and they accidentally shot a torpedo at Roosevelt's boat.
Oh my God.
The rest of its life, like, it had to live that down, and then just I wouldn't say comedy errors because people died stuff, but it was just it was the unluckiest boat in the Navy, and then eventually a kamikaze came and got shot down, except that it hit the water, went under it, and then blew up. So even though it missed the boat on impact, it ruined the boat. No one died, but it took them like days to try to save it, and they couldn't, and then it eventually sunk in the middle of the Pacific or something. So yeah, interesting little story though. And I'm not a Navy person either, but it was certainly 11 minutes worth of interesting stuff. One of the reasons I do this feature is because that's the kind of stuff we see on the front page. People just find something interesting, and they know there's like a group of people that are similar minded, so you see some interesting stuff.
Dead Horse is great at that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a couple of people that have their own like interest in the PBR. When he's active, he'll be putting this one here. Holy moly! Talk about that in a second.
A lot of good content, man. A lot of good stuff on there.
Heck yeah, and it's such a diverse collage of stuff, or whatever the word would be. Okay, we find where we left off. So now we got Knives, big piece of gun channels, pretty much every single day, really, except each weekday at least, and sometimes on the weekends as well. Knives will run his computer in his house, and he'll turn on a live chat and let people jump in and chat, and topics can run the gambit. But he's in there every single morning, posting 8 hours worth of live chat. So unprecedented amount of effort to keep the gun channels community going. Thanks, Mr. Knives. And over on his channel, we have a little button over here. If you'd like, you can purchase a pack of stickers that Angelina Allen Anchor makes up over in California. Sends them to us. We package them up. Cost $25, and as soon as you buy them, we send $20 over to Mr. Knives via PayPal. So that's $20 to Mr. Knives anytime you want.
Hey, and I did place my first order. I think you saw that on Instagram. She posted a sheet of it when they got printed.
Yeah,
so I'll be sending those out.
I saw that she printed them all upside down. Sorry to see that.
Well, yeah, I think that was just the camera angle. They're unidirectional, so it's okay. I know I saw that comment. I was like, are they? I don't know. I just thought it was a dramatic effect. So I'm excited for them to show up, though. I'm sending mine out to my patrons, and then I'm going to send a few extras out. And I got family members that are bugging me for some too, so I'm going to send some of those out. And then I see, okay, so here's the deal. If I'm going to buy them again, how can I do it is there any way to do it so that it can benefit like GunTube or benefit gun channels or benefit? You might have already gone over this, but is there a link I could use so that there's like an affiliate link that would help out somebody?
Oh, for Allen Anchor?
Yeah, through Allen. I mean, they're already giving us a great price anyway.
Yeah, because they're actually giving us the best price she can give us. And
definitely.
She helps out all the time. So yeah, I mean, if she gave us a discount, I wouldn't accept. She's helping us out all the time.
Well, I think 11D Savart actually looks kind of cool. If they were printed upside down, that would look kind of sweet. It almost looks like kind of like gang related or something, 11D Savart. I'm all about that.
All right, so then saw a thing here about murders that were not reported from Patriot. I didn't see that one, or I liked it, but I didn't read that one. Only average 46 are murdered a day. Only some murders get attention. Then we had an interview with Yuta, Pew Pew Jew, on Monday. So we posted a link to that. Let's see. Snob posting probably a link from NRA, I'm guessing, with the SAR pistol. Dead Horse, what's he doing? Posting another, his EDC, I guess, the 40, I guess that's a 40. I thought he had a 45. I don't know what he's doing with that picture. Let's see. Intentionally Left Blank is a podcast that's every other week on Monday. Angelina and Frankie, I guess. Slim's been guesting as well. Another cool podcast to check out on Mondays. We've got something from this. We're becoming programmed just like the English to associate firearms with evil and to get us to throw each other on the bus. Currently, the only difference between us and them is that our programming is not yet complete. We only recognize certain firearms as evil, and only certain firearms requires turn over the evil. Only certain firearms require us to turn over the evil owner to the authorities. Give us a few more years, so we'll be throwing our brothers under the bus for anything that resembles an assault weapon. wonder what prompted that one, but that's just a statement, I guess. So could prompt conversation. It didn't seem to, but we're talking about it. It looks like Rob was looking for a cheap site pusher, or if you're looking for a cheap site pusher, link to video there. There's our Daily Gun Show on Monday. Then we've got John Brown replying to Dead Horse. And Diane's posting something about a new female NRA president. It must be Tuesday, so that was after
what's her name? Yeah,
the meeting, that board member or whoever. We got Mr. Knives posting something about, unfortunately, the California hassles with their mag back and forth. Patriot posting a video with Tony Simon's 2A for Everyone shirt in the background. He's probably talking about the shirt in that video, judging from the title. Knives.
Yeah, and you can tell what's his name. If he's gonna buy a site pusher, don't buy a cheap one. I can tell you from personal experience, they're more trouble than they're worth.
Yeah, they bend, not the site.
Yep, and you end up marring your gun, and it's just not worth it. If you're gonna buy a site pusher, buy a decent one, or buy a real good set of punches. But don't waste your money on a real cheap site pusher. Been there, done that. Did not like the T-shirt.
Well, a site pusher is valuable if you're out on like the range or something, because you don't always have like the.
Oh, they're wicked useful when they work.
Yeah, with their use, exactly. And the big obnoxious ones seem to work the best, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I was posting something again, unfortunately, about another thing that happens in California on the regular at this point. It's one of their tactics is to attack the venues where gun shows happen. And gun shows in California used to be some of the best gun shows in the country. Obviously have deteriorated or been manipulated from that. But even now they're at risk. The venues are at risk. And it seems like each year they are required, the people that attend these shows are required to show up and voice their opinion on why the show shouldn't be banned from the various fairgrounds and things that the shows have historically been held in. So Knives posting again for that. And thanks for that. Goes posting a video from NRA. And then this one, we finally get to Robbie posted this video. Anybody have a chance to watch? This is like an hour and something minutes.
I didn't get a chance yet. Look forward to it.
Well, I'm going to take you to one of my favorite parts in the whole thing, and we'll listen to that for a second. Get copyrighted.
A moral foundation. It's a foundation of integrity. When you're making all your decisions based on that, you can look back and say, okay, I have 2 dead bodies here.
Okay,
and everyone there is committed to getting them out. But what if we're losing people along the way? What if now we got 4, 6,
This is
12
a colonel in the Army.
At what point in time do you
Lee
say,
Van Arsdale.
we're taking too many casualties
This
to
is
justify
talking
staying here to get these
talking about the Battle of Mogadishu, which is what's the real words for, or the real name of the Black Hawk Down movie.
Yeah.
So that I don't have an answer for that. Thank God I didn't have to make that decision.
So now they're at the end of an hour something long talk. This is Colonel. This is Kyle Lamb, and then this is another Colonel, Larry Perino. And the 3 of them were being interviewed by this other guy, and this is at West Point, so just down the river from the Bannerman Castle, where Army Academy, all the Army officers are being born. And this is a discussion with a bunch of baby military or baby Army officers. And this is an hour something into it. They've talked about a lot of the details and the proceedings and how it didn't go according to plan. And they're kind of wrapping up and talking about bigger picture stuff here. And this is one of my favorite parts of the whole discussion from Colonel Lee Van Arsdale.
Because we weren't taking the casualties. But ask yourself that at some point in time when you got the time to reflect and you can put yourself in that position. What do? Our whole culture is leave no man behind. We always take care of our own. But does it mean we're going to sacrifice our entire unit to do so? And that's one of the questions General Garrison had. I've only got a finite number of people left to send out there in the battle to help the guys who are stuck out there. And how many times can I send them out and get them shot up and then limp back and then try to find some other vehicles and cobble together someone else and send them out? So those are the kind of ethical questions that I don't have an answer for, other than to say that, you've all heard the words "duty, honor, country," presumably. That gives you an ethical, a moral foundation. It's a foundation of integrity. And when you're making all your decisions based on that, you can look back and say, okay, I made the wrong decision. But no one can question why you made that decision if it was built on the proper foundation. So I don't have a brilliant analysis of here's the equation for always making an ethical decision. But I think if you put yourself in those positions and say, what would I do then? Then you'll, and if you have that values-based foundation, then that's going to serve you tremendously the rest of your life, in and out of uniform.
I think that's super interesting. Keeping a good root, good foundations, and then knowing mistakes are going to happen. Learning and keeping going. Motivation.
Right on, man.
All right, so I turned right up. We got Pincus and Yankee on Ghost Chat on Tuesday. Anybody catch that or watch the replay?
I've watched about 2/3 of it, if I'm not mistaken. I caught a pretty good chunk of it. It was a very interesting discussion. A lot of different viewpoints too, which was, refreshing, because a lot of times we just all tend to agree on the same things a lot, especially about certain issues. But yeah, it was good.
I stopped most of it too. I wish Yankee would have let Pincus talk a little more when he kept cutting him off. But other than that, I mean, that's just the nature of the beast.
Always good to see Yankee get challenged a little bit, and then to have Pincus, because Pincus is able to have an interesting conversation. He's a good dude. He's not so ingrained in his thing. He doesn't get flustered. So having Yankee throw pretty much, I would say challenging stuff at him, he can handle it. But there's a couple of things that the two of them are never gonna agree on. It got a little close to some of those things, but overall it was, like you say, interesting. I think it's the best way to say it. Thanks for Ghost for having that show, because that's kind of thing that I guess, like you say, when you have, I don't know what to call that, a conversation, I guess you can it gives you ideas how to have the next conversation. What have got to hear? You're shooting Tony's 2A fund?
Yeah, the weather was god awful, but I went out anyway.
Oh, this is the one where you're filming from inside the vehicle?
Yeah, I set my tripod up in the back of the Jeep, and I was using my backup camera because I didn't know if it was going to be blowing rain in the back of the vehicle. It was like 42 degrees and raining when I was filming this, but I wanted to get out and do it really bad. And I was probably about 30, 35 yards away from the target boards, but I mean, there was nobody else out at the range, so it was fine. Just back up, pop the hatch, and shoot. So I thought I was going to shoot a little bit better, but I hadn't shot that gun for over a year. It's a good problem. It's a good problem to have, that I constantly have new firearms that I get to test out. But the bad thing is that the ones I really should be practicing with, my own defensive guns, I don't take out as much as I should. So it's kind of a, a little signature pulling to the left there.
Now, is it an automatic DQ if you nail the Ghost logo or the?
I was worried. Because notice I kind of clipped the 2 on the 2A fund. I didn't know if Ghost was going to take that personal if I just put one right through the center of it. But I usually shoot that. That was an SD9 VE, and I usually shoot it a lot better. But I just, I rolled up, put the target up, started filming, and then just fired. And then I was like, well, I'm going to go, because it was starting to rain even more. So,
well, that's what happens. The wind will blow those down. There are bullets all over the place.
Yep.
Oh, here's Clover and Ghost sharing videos. They don't even bother to do their own videos anymore. They just have people do videos for both of them. So it's their thing now.
Yeah, one guy holds a mic, the other guy holds a camera. It's a real love fest.
Well, no, they both hold the camera. They have one guy talk, and then they both post it as if they both took a video. Yeah, it works out pretty good. Then you got your hit or miss. You ran that for Night Strike, doing his real life stuff. So appreciate that. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, it was a good show, man. It was a good show.
Then Sandhills does his 2A Tuesday. This week it was chatting with him and his wife. So next week they'll be on to the Second Amendment, I believe, in their.
We'll go back to the Second Amendment. Yeah.
Bill of Rights series. Guns and Gadgets posted some, I guess, after action or some follow up to the whole thing on Monday with the anonymous and all that. Then we had our the gun show. Looks like Gizzard is saying Happy May Day, 1st of May, and reminding everybody about every second matters. Tardot, or what are they calling it? Tar Beauty? What they're calling it now?
Tar Beauty.
Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah, I think it is actually. Yeah. I
Something
like Beauty Dot would be better though. Don't you think Beauty Dot would be a good one?
Yeah, I haven't seen that mix. Yeah, that would be an interesting one.
Beauty Dot, it's good. Yeah.
But let's see. This is a conversation I had with the little Mosin from Keystone.
That was, yeah. If we had a couple minutes, I would like to talk about that because that's an interesting little take on. That's a cool idea because I can see people collecting them like goat guns. Although they're 2/3 scale reproduction. I mean, they're firearms.
What is all this stuff on the wall there? Oh, these are different stocks for their stuff. But yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they said they're going to do at least 5, right? So
yeah, they were. I don't know if they were taking a poll for what they should do next. People were saying like a 1903 Springfield or.
Well, they said they're going to do a poll, yeah, and then that'll be the next one, and then whatever. If you buy one now, you'll get that serial number held for you on the next.
So here's a question I got for you guys: if a company could do it the right way and could reproduce Mosin Nagants, do you think people would buy them?
Yes.
I don't understand why somebody hasn't jumped on and done that already.
Super.
Only if they cost $150.
The thing, no, but look at where Mosins are going right now. You're looking at upwards of $350, $400 for a nice clean one. I mean, it's ridiculous what they're. I mean, you can't tell me that somebody couldn't make one and get one into production and get it for $400 to $450. I would rather buy I've got an old one. I got a really nice hex. I would rather go spend the money and practice and shoot the hell out of a brand new one than run rounds for my old one, which I absolutely love to shoot, but I don't want to really risk wearing it out because I'm trying to keep it in good condition. I think there's a market there. I think a lot of us gun guys, we got the ARs, we got the AKs. A lot of us are just salivating for PSA to release their MP5 clone because it's like that's the next thing we don't have in our collection. And to get reproduction guns of guns that we love that are getting hard to find that are going up in price, because we've got, reproduction Tommy guns, we've got whatever, the M1 carbines or whatever, stuff like that. It would be cool if they would get the Mosins back in production. I think a lot of people would buy them.
Matthias is saying he sold a Mosin for $300. I bought a Mosin for $300. The guy I bought it from offered to buy it back for $600.
Yeah, if you just look at, and I know Gunbroker is an awful place to judge prices, but unfortunately that sometimes becomes the standard or Classic. Whenever Classic Farms gets them, minimum $300 without the hand pick, without the shipping, without whatever, and you don't know what you're going to get. Well, shit, sniper models are going for $800, $900 now, if not more.
Yeah, I don't know. But you're buying those because they have a history, they have a provenance, where they were made, how they were made, and to just build a new one and to say here's a new one.
Oh, I'm not talking necessarily a sniper. I'm just saying like a reproduction Mosin with a nice stock on it, with fresh rifling, with safe headspace. I just think it'd be cool if they would just remake them again. And because they're going to get to a point where they're going to be so expensive, the average guy just won't buy them anymore. I mean, if you look at SKSs, they're getting upwards of $400 and $450, for a decent one.
There's got to be like a billion more Mosins than there are SKSs, but I hear you.
You can't tell me somebody couldn't start making SKSs now and make them for either the same price as what they're selling for from the imported ones, or, I mean, there's got to be a way to make them so these companies can still make money, make them in the USA, get them out there. I mean, my God, the SKS cannot be that expensive to produce one from the ground up. I don't know.
Well, I bet you will see it at some point. Like I said, there's still demand for them.
Yeah.
If you want it cheap, get a Chinese Mosin, right? Those guys make everything cheap.
No, they're not, though. I mean, I don't know what I paid for my Chinese ones, but I mean, they're technically Russians, but they're, I don't know if China ever made them. I think they just got them from Russia.
Either that or an Indian Mosin, one of the two. Those are the guys that are still working for a quarter an hour or so.
But here's the thing about those mini Mosins. Okay, now that does have a wooden crate. It is limited to 500, and they are going to go down in price, but they're $500. I mean, and I guarantee they're going to sell out. People are going to want them as a collector item. People are going to want them for their kids.
Yeah,
So
it's
somebody's willing
amazing.
to-
They took a $150 cricket and they found a way to sell it for
Yes,
$500.
that's the point I'm making. If somebody's willing to spend $500
Out of their
on that,
freaking minds.
people would spend 500 on a new, well, not
No,
maybe
no,
500 on a new production Mosin, but I mean, if you could get one out there for 350, no, that's a price point where a lot of guys are like, it'd be kind of fun to get something to play around with.
But look, you're talking a cricket, which is they already have they didn't do anything to the action at all. They just put it in a different stock, and
They just milled it differently. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's $500. I mean, that's just to tool up a different stock in that little ring.
Well, the price, the price is high on it because limited edition, the wooden crate, kind of
I
the
know. I think
exclusivity of it. Yeah.
I suspect they have to tool up without any 100% certainty that they're going to be able to do that. Where they say diminish that cost of tooling up over quantity. So they have to distribute that cost in the first 500.
Mhm.
If they sell thousands more, they might profit. But I suspect the $500 price point is reflecting the tooling up of that stock and the whatever the process is to make that thing up. But I'm just saying, I mean, in other words, I don't think cricket is getting rich off of these things. I think that reflects how much it really costs to do a new thing, and that's just a new thing that's really just altering the cosmetics of an existing platform. You're talking about everything from scratch,
Ground up, making a new one. Yeah.
I mean, first you got to pick whichever brand of SKS, which country or whatever, and then start one, because again, that's a gun that lasted for a while, and a lot of countries, there's more than, there's not just a one, there's a couple, so you'd have to pick one to start with, and then again, you'd have to.
Oh, I don't think it would be easy at all. I'm just saying, with modern manufacturing,
I don't think
parts
really
sourcing,
$300. I think the price point on a new gun, when we see the bolt action platforms that are machined out of stuff and they're kind of skeletonized, those things are like in the thousands of dollars, right? Because again, you've got to tool up and research and pay for machine time, and every mistake is machine time you're just putting into the development. So that's a lot of cost to come out. And it's not like just because an SKS exists and you're backward engineering it, like your first run is going to be a production ready sample or something.
Oh yeah.
But that's a good question. I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever put any real effort into it. I've never really seen anything like that. Much more than just people pondering on it. But I mean, like companies that said like, hey, we're going to do it, and then failed or anything. I haven't even seen parts really.
Well, and we've seen it with other guns that are out there too. Like I said, the Tommy guns and the M1, the 30 caliber. My brain's just not functioning tonight. Is it the M1 carbines? Is that what we call them? The 30 caliber?
No, that's a good point. No,
Inland's manufacturing them fresh, and they're an okay price.
No, that's a good point. And those were kind of had to be. I mean, they actually, I'm guessing those probably took some World War II machinery and kind of upped it there. But the Tommies you're talking about, those were completely different guns that just kind of had the shape of a Tommy. And they're not using any World War II machining or anything. So that would have been a completely new gun. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's a valid point. And it's not like cost of production is getting more expensive. If anything, it's getting less expensive.
Yep.
Would somebody be able to use some of the old machinery that made SKSs that they could probably get pretty cheap?
How are you going to get anything like that from China, though, or from Russia?
Money.
We'll just copy their designs and make our own machines.
When
you're talking Cold War, like, SKS 1953 or something, 53, something like that. You're talking machines that were massive. The metals are different. They were just huge. They weren't designed to be portable. Those are giant infrastructure type machines from what I've seen. And you see like AK production facilities and stuff. They're not like using modular stuff from like Sears, they're using giant stuff they created that was probably versions of stuff that was making cannons and swords back in the olden days. So anyway, I just don't think you buy factories. Otherwise, I think there is enough, like what Travis is talking about. It would be a lot different if you owned an SKS factory and you just dropped it down, put it back together, and started pumping out SKSs. I mean, that shortcuts a lot of that, right? So I would think somebody with wherewithal would have come up with that, or put it in Canada, right? Somewhere where you can actually get it and put it and get them imported here.
Hey, we hear about companies doing that quite a bit. Look at, PTR 91 buying the old H&K machining stuff, Taurus buying the old Beretta stuff to make the 92 FS,
But that stuff where like a factory exists or maybe two, and then the companies like, owned that property and put it somewhere. Training stuff, I get the impression those are more like villages that collaboratively would like assemble guns, like product, like, raw ore and wood would come in one side and SKS's came out the other, and it was like the whole village type of thing. So I don't know if anyone would be able to just go gather the stuff. I don't know, but that's a question. All right, so then we had Knives doing another chat on Wednesday, hosting the lobby for everyone. The chat on Wednesday with KD talking about his industry event coming up at the end of the month. It's like you were posting about a sale over on Olight.
Yeah, I did. I did my review on the light. I actually broke it. I think I'm the only person on YouTube that actually broke his Seeker 2 while drop testing it.
Oh damn! Just dropping it like normally, like not.
I did the 1.5 meter drop test. I dropped it twice, and then the second time it shut off, and I thought, well, that's kind of odd. I've never had one of the lights just turn off, and so I dropped it a third time, and it didn't turn back on. So I sent it back.
Right on.
Yeah. So I mean, I was trying to give an honest review on it. It really caught me off guard because I don't break a lot of stuff on the channel, and I was like, well, that's weird. It's not coming back on. So I thought, well, let's give it a charge and let's see what happens. And it did not turn back on. So the little status lights were coming on, but there was no light coming out of the beam. So I thought, well, let's go ahead and send it back.
Yeah, there's little computer heads in there. It's easy enough for a piece of solder or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure it was nothing, And they didn't.
Well, but the good news is
yeah.
you could always get a job with Demolition Ranch,
Yeah. Oh, of course, yeah.
Then we got Rick posting his shooting with disabilities on Wednesday. He's been doing that for a long time, even after his move to Indiana. Had Never Enough Ammo's chat on, that would have been Wednesday, I guess. And then we got Honda posting some ammo that he purchased, probably for Every Second Matters. And then Dave saying happy Second Matters. Patriot posted a Every Second Matters video. Tony's responded, I spread the message of Every Second Matters on a Fox News live stream chat and got his 29 out. Oh, so he's talking about his revolver out. Let's see, Pelosi doing something. Thomas posted something about Pelosi. Sneaky Pelosi added some red flag type gun control to the Violence Against Women Reauthorization Act of 2019. And gun owners and this other place have action links. So I'm guessing that's like a pre-written letter to your representatives to show your dissatisfaction in that concept of HR 1585. And we got Knives posting his chat on Thursdays. You kind of see how the days keep going with Knives posting his thing on the regular. Let's see, let's go Michigan. Here's a few pro-gun bills that will make Night Strike smile. So that's good to hear. Patriots posting some positive stuff. Concealed carry license eliminated. And, so that sounds like constitutional carry. I like that. Caliber Corner. They have a good show. That was Thursday.
Yeah, it was good. It was a great show. We had Mike Taylor from Florida Carry join us. He's not the man from Florida Carry, but a member of Florida Carry, and he was sharing with us his experiences down in Florida, where he's doing his going on fishing trips and walking out to the area where you're allowed to open carry, but every time he does it, like the cops get called on him. So he's kind of talking about those experiences and how they're trying to raise awareness for a statute that actually allows them to open carry while they're going to their fishing venues and coming back. And we had a lot of good discussions. It was he does want to come over to gun channels and get signed up now. He's just really new to all of this, even including firearms ownership, and he's really getting active, and he's seeing how even his rights are getting, restricted and so on. So we had a really good discussion on the show.
That's super cool for lots of reasons. So Florida's deal is they have concealed carry, but for some reason their open carry has a requirement that they be camping or fishing. So in order to comply with the law and still raise awareness, Florida Carry, one of the organizations that I've been familiar with for a long time, a state level organization, they facilitate, they organize and promote fishing trips where the guys will go out, guys and gals will get together as the Florida Carry organization and go fishing, and they'll open carry. And because it's such a, I guess, rare thing in Florida, that, like you said, it becomes a thing. Unfortunately, it's almost a, what's the word for that? It's almost like a demonstration or like an intentional I wouldn't say like they're doing anything to confront, but they're ready. They're prepared. That often they are confronted with law enforcement, and it's an opportunity to educate and to learn how to have those interactions, and for any bystanders to be aware that there's weird laws in Florida, and yeah, they're putting in the fight. So that's cool that you had them on, and that you found somebody who's new to the internet. So new to gun owners, we meet them all the time, especially on gun channels, right? New to the internet, though, is kind of more unusual, I think, for this day and age. So that's awesome that somebody, would come in and immediately understand and recognize, it's somebody who's got to focus on, the true, whatever the meaning of the second and what's really under attack here. That's really cool.
Oh yeah.
And thanks for having a platform that gave him the ease and comfort to approach you, because that's what it's all about. I tell people, value your voices, right? Because what like Rick is doing on Wednesdays, I can never reach the people that Rick's going to reach on Wednesday. I might say something loud enough or often enough that they hear it once, but to get through and have a conversation with people, it takes all the different voices we've got. And like you just did there, who knows if what you do getting him online gets him a taste or a little bit more accustomed to doing this stuff, and he becomes the next rock star in the Second Amendment.
His channel is growing, so we definitely need to get his presence over on gun channels. And he was recommended to me by viewers of Caliber Corner, like, hey, you got to get a hold of this guy. You got to see what he's doing. He's doing good things. And I said, all right, let's get him on. And I talked to him ahead of time. We had him on Caliber Corner the week before, just to get him used to how the panel works and the technology behind it and stuff. And he was great. And I watched a bunch of his videos and read a lot of his posts and stuff. And he's just trying to enjoy the outdoors like anybody else, and he just happens to want to. I mean, I would probably open carry in Florida. They got some nasty little creatures down there, man. You got to worry about alligators. You got freaking pythons, panthers. I mean, good God, man. And it's not like you're always going to have an easy trek to your fishing hole, so I can understand why they offer it,
Well, and you're talking natural predators, but they also have drug smuggling and smuggling, and then just craziness because it's an international water border. So
dude,
craziness that violence might happen out of nowhere. Driving down the thing, minding your business, and I'm just going to assume this happens often in Florida. You're minding your own business, driving along, having a walk or something, and a big bale of cocaine will come out of some low-flying airplane, and a bunch of
literally, dude, the cartels are going from Colombia to Belize now. They're skipping Mexico altogether. Yeah,
cartels will swarm up to grab it, and the ATF will be there, and you're in the middle of a big gunfight. You don't even know. It happens all the time. I've seen Miami Vice.
There you go. Yep.
We were warned. We knew it was coming. So let's see. Thursday we had a chat with Logan. Let us know about his adventures in the Second Amendment, and planning on doing quite a bit more with Logan in the future. He's been to a lot of the museums that I'm a big fan of. So and he's been to museums I've not yet attended. So hopefully going to do a series with him about that. Looks like Gizzard was eating a big bowl of 9mm cereal.
Bowl of SSA flakes. Yeah.
I got that off air. Then we'll go to Obnoxious. Looks like he had a chat on Thursday. Thursday's big chat day, talking about the annual meetings. Then Clover had his nerd chat or whatever he calls it on Thursdays, talking about time management. It was pretty interesting. Listen to different ways people keep themselves on track and organized. Well, we talked about that video already. There's Knives posting his thing. What's this all about? San Diego County CCW permits nearly doubled in a year. Look at Knives kicking ass on California awareness over here. Obviously, that's a state that needs as much efforting as possible. Let's see. Then we got Dead Horse posting something about one of his must-have guns. I didn't click on that link. And then I posted something about the free hats I talked about earlier. Bishop Ammunition posted some pics of guns that I'm guessing they either shot or are going out to customers.
Nice.
Gizzard is he's gloating about some prize pack he won off of Gizzard. No, off of who did he get it from? Snob. Okay. I'm actually kind of looking at this. I think this, I can't tell if this is a patch and this is a sticker or if it's just different lighting or something. But I'm also curious about these little rooster ones. Oh, these are the ones that somebody recommended they go get and then send to him, I bet.
Because of the whole rooster connection. Yeah.
Yeah, we were live, and those guys it was Sunday, and I forget whose show we were live on. it might have been that show we were talking about on Sunday after Gizzard's show. And a couple of people were still at NRA, and some people had left. I think Ghost was already in the vehicle chatting with us as he was driving away. And Obnoxious, and I think it was Obnoxious. Somebody had mentioned that somebody should grab one of these patches for Gary, and then Obnoxious ran over there and said he grabbed one. So he must have given them to Snob, and then Snob gave them to Gary, and that's how it all works, right? And then I don't know what this is. Maybe a cell phone holder or something? Business card holder? I've never seen that before.
Is that one of those ones that goes on the back of your phone and you put your driver's license in it? It's like a stick-on
Could be.
cell
Never
phone
seen
holder.
that. That seems like a kind of a gimmicky thing for Glock, though. Usually they do something a little more gunnish or something.
But they're
Okay.
just popular. I mean, people are slapping them. Those little pop socket things people put on the back of their phones too. I mean, that's just what people are into right now.
Okay. And I
So,
guess it has a big
Yeah,
logo.
it's part of marketing. So
It would work. It's a big logo.
Yeah.
So then Clover posted his interview with Walther. I listened to a chunk of that on Gunstreamer. And then I guess next Friday he's doing his live. Once a month he'll do Firearms Friday live, talking to industry people on Fridays. That'll be after Gizzard's Foul Territory, which is probably still going right now. Let's see. Talking about what they're shooting tomorrow. Looks like they're getting everything staged there. And then what do you know? The Daily Gun Show. Back to where we started. How long did that take? An hour and something? About an hour. Started late. So that's about most of the show right there. We'll talk about the hats here in a second. I don't know how many people out there, show of hands, if anybody is purchased something from the Gear website store and is waiting to pick a hat. People that are here get precedence over people that ain't here. So anyway, that was the week in guns. Anybody have anything else maybe from the week that we didn't hit on the news feed there that was worth including?
You know, I mean, and we're going to be hearing about it a lot, but Venezuela is getting worse. Everything is starting to escalate quite a bit. There's a lot of gunshots going, a lot more gunfire going on now than what we heard before. And, you know, I don't think anybody wants to see us intervene. I'm hoping we don't have to go there next.
We go there? I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's chatter about U.S. support or U.S. direction. You know, I don't know.
Well, I depend on people from gun channels and the chats here to get that kind of info because I definitely don't have, well, the interest or the time. I don't give myself time to go get into that stuff unless it was like about to turn into a war that we're getting into. Obviously, then I'd pay more attention to it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I haven't heard that, so that's interesting. I figured.
Well, you know, anytime you got a bunch of people that are trying to overthrow a socialist dictator, it starts to, you know, not that the new guy that wants to come in is much better necessarily in terms of his beliefs, but it'll be interesting to see what happens down there. But I guess, you know, one main thing from it that we did have this discussion on hit or miss Tuesday nights at 9:00 was the idea that those people were disarmed in 2011 and 2012. And then after that, their living conditions, their poverty, their inflation, everything just went just awful, you know? And this guy would probably be overthrown a lot faster if he had an armed populace that didn't want him in command anymore.
I think I read somewhere that he was already on the tarmac and the Russians said, "Don't do it." But
Yeah.
I think I could wrap my mind around sending some really fancy planes and bombs and stuff to kick the crap out of stuff. But I don't really. I think we're all on the. I'm not going to speak for everybody. I know I don't think that boots on the ground is really a plan for it.
No, I think that more and more of their army are probably going to be defecting over to the new guys' side.
You guys
Why though?
keep it going for a second. I got to go get
Yeah.
Sure. Travis, I know you
Yep.
being a teacher as well. I was reading about in Florida,
Yeah.
the governor's probably going to sign the protect ourselves kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt. I forgot that I got a 50% teacher ratio in here. Let's not Common Core.
No, dude, don't worry. Nebraska was the last state to refuse it, and just as they were about to shove it down our throat, it pretty much lost steam and it disappeared. So
Okay.
yeah, no, we like to be left alone by the federal government to teach our kids because we know our kids better than anybody else. And No Child Left Behind, that was another one of those situations where we were pretty much held at funding gunpoint to have to accept it or lose federal funding, what little bit we actually get from the feds. It's funny how they want to make all the shots, yet they pay such a small percentage of everything. It's funny how that works for the government sometimes. But, with the Florida thing, but what are all the provisions attached to it now? What are they going to require the teachers to do? Do you guys know?
I think it was 144 hours of training. So
Oh my God.
quite a bit of
Can I-
training. I can think of a bunch of teachers that I know would do it, but like you work in a high school where you've got far more likely to have some
Yeah.
people that are like, I work in an elementary school. I mean, a few, but not very often. You got a whole bunch of little 50-year-old little old ladies teaching most of the time.
Well, you'd have to worry about an angry parent or a guardian or a dad coming to get his kid with a gun by force because of an ugly divorce that took place. I mean, there's a million scenarios that could lead to somebody with a firearm showing up at a school, whether it's an elementary school or a high school or whatnot. I mean, look at Sandy Hook,
Yeah.
But still, no, I hear you. I mean, the training thing, I can understand that there's going to be parents and there's going to be a school board and probably an insurance company that wants, before they're going to insure anybody or pass a rule or law, they want to be sure that the person that's going to be wielding the firearm is mentally or psychologically or physically trained for that kind of interaction. So I can understand, because that's the same situation with everything else we do in schools. There's always the extra training that goes along with every program. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not.
What about Utah? Haven't they been doing it since like 2006?
See, in Texas is the same situation.
No little kid got a gun. Nothing bad happened. No parent got shot or weirdness happened. It was just they've got enough safe. I walk by the nice making sure this is a soft target sign every single morning.
The thing about the training is that I could see it. I'm just guessing, in my experiences going through the shooter training and stuff that we have at the school where I teach, the interaction I would probably have with the gunman, the higher chance of the interaction would probably be somebody trying to get into my classroom.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm thinking 140 hours of training. I mean, unless they're going to start you off with the basics, this is a gun, this is a bullet, let's take it apart, let's put it together. I mean, I wonder if they start off with that kind of an essential where I've already gone through training. I've already gone through all the background checks. I've already got my concealed carry permit. I've already paid all the money. I carry constantly where I can. It's like, how is it going to be any different if I'm in a high school versus a crowded Walmart when something happens, or a mall, or
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I don't know if they have a provision for people that already have concealed carry or anything like that. I was just reading into one article about it today. Most of the article was about the fact that the governor was going to sign it, and of course the teachers union was all butthurt about.
And they are, and the national, and I am a member of our local association. I'm not going to call it a union because ours is not, because we don't strike in Nebraska for our high schools when we get upset about stuff. The state union is incredibly opposed. They came out with a statement last spring saying that they do not think that firearms need to have a place in the classroom, period. And it's like, well, you're okay. So now you're making the determination for my fate. You're saying what's going to happen to me. Why do you get to say what's going to happen to me? And that's reflected in the national level, and it's reflected in the candidates they put up for president. And it's, yeah. And then our state has the law that we're gun-free zones, and
Well, I mean, it's a moot point for me because even if they allowed it in Washington State, I'm in like the bluest of blue states nowadays, and it doesn't matter because the district would immediately have rules against it.
Yeah,
which is the worst case scenario. You just get fired. You don't go to jail at least. But
for Nebraska, it would be a different situation, I think, because it's not like a business where they ask you to leave if you're armed. It's the same. It's up there with government offices, hospitals.
Yeah. But if they took that away, then it would just be.
Yeah.
It would just be pissed off the district, not you made it. Yeah. You did something straight up illegal.
Yep. I just think it's crazy that we're not allowed to, because we're responsible with the firearms outside of school everywhere. I understand there's different factors, there's different scenarios, there's different things that could come up or develop in a situation like that. But And I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to taking more training, but I mean, from a taxpayer standpoint, I just think it's unnecessary.
Yeah, I'm into that.
That's just me. I mean, maybe I can just take my 180 hours of YouTube videos of me at the range, and I can just send that off to send that off to whoever wants to approve it, and just see if that's eligible or not.
Well, I mean, maybe the government, they wouldn't even know what they're looking for anyway, so they'd probably they'd be like, yeah, this is the new standard.
Yeah, no, they would just want to see a piece of paper that says you've had the training at the taxpayer's expense, and then, whoo, you're approved, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
Did we stall long enough for you, G?
Yeah. I'm just a little bit bitter about it because it is my life here that we're talking about. I'd like to be able to protect it.
Well, I mean, I walk by this sign that's got a little, like, it's like a Raven or, you know, a little 380 Davis or something. And I'm like, well, can I just carry a better gun than that one?
Oh, I know. They always got to take the Glock profile. It's so discriminatory. You know,
We have a lot of Brendan 92s, and I'm like, so
yes.
anything but a Brendan 92. I mean,
Yep.
It's a free gun, but like I have other guns. Can I bring those?
Okay, so I've been asking in the chats just to say it now, like verbally, so that we don't screw up any parliamentary precedent here, since we got Cycle Camp here. We've already got the first 3 orders, hats requests in. So the next one would have been, I'm going to have to open these in separate tabs, I think. That's the way to do it. The next one would have been, trying to figure out ways to do this. DM is the initials from California. So if DM from California is out there, that would be the next person. And they got a patch panel. Thank you very much for that. And then the next person in line would be the initials JL from Nebraska.
Whoa.
So Nebraska, keeping us online. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We like our guns.
You know everybody in Nebraska, right?
Pretty much. There's only 1.2 million of us, so we're yeah. You pretty much get to know everybody, and if you don't really have a choice because they want to get to know you.
And then since I'm just double checking, since those people, whoever those people are, have not chimed up, the next person in line looks like it is Matthias over here on the gun channel side, and he requested the AK hat, the trucker hat we were talking about earlier. So you'll grab that. And
Oh man, really? I wanted that. No, that's right. It's okay. It's going to a good home.
And then this last one, let me double check, because I did tell the people on my Patreon who have discount codes that if they purchase something, I would take the before discount price. And this is something else. So this might be from eBay or something. So right on. So thanks. We've got a couple of orders in. I'm trying to keep everything together. So that helps more than I can say. So we're very grateful. Thank you very much to the people that keep us online with those purchases. A couple of people purchased our patch panels. I guess it's a good time to go over to our store and see some of the stuff we've got. We have patches because we're a big fan of patches. I'm a scout. I was in military. I've been hanging around with law enforcement a long time and paramedics. I've always dug patches. I was in Civil Air Patrol, and I dig Air Force stuff. So those guys have a lot of patches. Those were my first Velcro patches. Throughout the years, there's been lots of things I usually gravitate. If there's a patch around, I grab it. And then, of course, you get to morale patches and the phenomenon of expressing yourself with those little Velcro panels that they put on bags and hats and the arms of coats and stuff. And I got into creating patches years ago, and it was just sort of a fun thing to do and save a little money because I'm super cheap. I do not like going through middlemen. And once I figured out how to, I guess, get the patches made economically, and their need to fund the channel, it's one of the ways that we make profits to keep our other projects online. And it's something that I'm able to now share with other content creators and help with their projects. Just help share the information and the context and the resources so that more and more valued content can be created through capitalism. And again, we appreciate the people that participate in the store, but we have more than patches. We have the cards. So one of the projects we've been doing for years now is to create playing cards, either regular old poker or magic trick type of playing cards, or the trading cards and some, trading cards. I don't know what to call the like informational things we've done, but that's we're proud to say all of our decks of cards so far have been made in the USA. Those have been crowdfunding efforts. So again, it's ways for us to cut our teeth and then learn the methods and the variations of how to use the crowdfunding platforms. And our goal is then to encourage others to learn from our mistakes and from our success and to crowdfund their own projects. So we've been lucky to been able to consult other people on that. And again, that's due to the people that create these, that make these projects happen. We make things that don't need to exist. No one needed a deck of AK identification cards, but bringing the Second Amendment up off the internet and into real life is an effort that I think is worthy. And it's neat to know that there's other people out there that agree, and together we can make these things happen. If nothing else, it's an example for people with more valid or useful or necessary projects to learn from and to be inspired by. So anyway, I appreciate everybody who participates in the store and with the products that we've got over there. The patch panels, I guess I mentioned, are we basically go to the Home Depot and we grab some speaker cabinet carpet, this kind of stuff you'd wrap a speaker cabinet with, a very lightweight indoor-outdoor all-weather carpet that's made in Georgia. So it's 100% U.S. materials. We chop that up and run it through our machines so it looks a little better and it doesn't fray on the edges. We put our logo on it and we sell it for a profit, and that helps keep the lights on and the servers going. It's hopefully something that will be of interest to people that want to help see our projects go and have a place to display our patches as well as their other patches that they collect from the events and trades and stuff that they do out there. And I guess win in contests and things with channels that do that kind of stuff, giveaways and whatnot. All right, so that's a bunch of selling. Thanks again to the people that participated today, purchasing stuff at the store. Do you guys have anything else before we head out?
No, thanks,
man, I'm good.
Let's see, unknown users saying it would be a 6-hour class. I guess they're talking about CCW out there. Big 2A win in the state of Tennessee today. They reduced the requirements for carry permits to just a short online test. No more expensive courses. I'm glad I saw that. Unknown users letting us know some info about Tennessee in the chat. Used to be a 6-hour class for the Tennessee CCW class. Now it's a 90-minute online test. That's awesome. To slowly getting closer to constitutional carry. That is very cool. So Tennessee being one of them big horizontal states, everybody looks to them for what to do next. So that's good. Science saying shall not be infringed. Right on. And can we get a group by thing going to get the AK Boldface patch remade? My problem with the AK Boldface is this. It's not like an AR Boldface with crisp edges. It's got rounded edges, so it's just weird to try to draw it with the mechanical drawing. So I haven't personally created good art yet. I'll give it another attempt, and maybe there's a Kalashnikov patch batch coming. Who knows? Maybe by the end of the year, there'll be a dozen Kalashnikov patches being made, and the Boldface could be one of those. So thanks for the idea. And as far as the machine, like I said, it's just the art is a pain in the butt with the AK Boldface. All right, anything else? Thanks again for jumping in. I don't know what time it is in Connecticut, but thanks, Cycle, for staying up and joining us each night.
Yep, 1:30.
Right on. Have a good weekend. I would say normally listen to Caliber Corner in the morning, but that's moved to Thursdays. So I don't know if he's going to open a show or not. A couple of people have been opening shows on Saturday. Anyone's welcome to do anything they want. And if you want to share that on Gun Channels, that's awesome. Value your voice. Get used to doing this stuff. It's fun. It's easy. It's very low cost. And it has amazing impact. You never know if you're going to talk to the next Alan Gottlieb, who at 24-year-old started a organization which 35 years later gets all the gun owners' rights groups from the national and state level together once a year, alternatively in friendly and ungun friendly cities. And they strategize, they let people know what's going on, and they fight for our rights. So
cool.
Do your thing, and be part of it.